Hi, this is Charlie. We are now moving on to working on the outside of the album, building it up. And I am going to show you what I'm playing with, and then I'm going to give you some options. Out of the patterns and solids, I've picked this particular piece. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to build on this. If you do not want to do what I'm going to show you, you have an option of using this page or this page. But what I'm going to do is out of the front of the core collection, I cut out the quoted saying that's right here that says beautiful moments. So it's going to kind of sit front and center, but it's also going to layer over. I have a lot of ephemera pieces playing with them, so I hope you got the ephemeras. If you ordered from Scrap and Create and got the bundle, then hopefully you've got your ephemera. But this is going to lay over. I'm setting the window here. I kind of want the window in the background. I'm using the holly leaf here. And then I'm going to put a star up here. So I was going to kind of take care of the top part. Now, what I did across the bottom was I wanted the tree, but I wanted it to be behind the packages and the soldier, the Nutcracker. So what I did was is I came in here and I cut out right along here around his head, his hat, his arm, and I came over to about here so that this tree will come in here and sit about so. And then I'm going to tack the Nutcracker and this package back up against the tree. Then I'm going to place a little high up. Got to adjust my window. Again, these are all ephemera with the exception of this one, and there's one more. I've got the fireplace. Now, you don't have to put all these elements on here. I wanted this to look homey. So here's the chair sitting in front of a package. But then I did one of the cutouts, backed it on some cardstock to give it some oomph. And it's going to come in right here. And then I've got the grandfather clock over here. And then I have her here. Push the window a little bit more that way so it kind of gives more of a homey, Christmassy feel. So you can leave any element out, you can change any element that you want, or if you don't want to use ephemera or don't have ephemera, you can certainly use this page. You'll just have to make some adjustments, and you can certainly use this page, just keeping in mind whatever you do for your quoted saying, you're going to need to make adjustments for that. Now for the spine, I took what I cut off here, I continued that over into the spine, and I'm using the Nutcracker out of the ephemera. And then on the back, I used another background piece. It's this one with the ornaments in the upper left corner. And then I took the chipboard pieces of the three little ballerinas, and I've inked their edges, and they're going to sit on the back of the album. Now, you have a couple of options with the ballerinas. One, you don't have to use them. There's also ephemera pieces, and then there's also on the cutout sheet, the 12 by 12 sheet, there's a cutout of these. So you have three options that you can use for the ballerina. But this is what, if they get all of this in the camera, this is what I've got going here. And then on the album itself, I've done the best to match up some ribbon that I have, and we're going to do a ribbon closure for the album. So if you want to gather out those pieces, stop the video, gather them up, and then come back and we'll start the assembly. This is going to be the trickiest part. Even myself, I made an error cutting through here. I cut way too low, and that's not what my intent was, and I had cut across him, and that meant that this was going to cover him, and that's not my intent. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted him to be in front of the Christmas tree. So then this creates kind of a nice homey look to me. All right. Now I am using a nice, beautiful red to frame the outside. I framed it in brown just so that I can let these colors pop. And then, get this out of here. And then when this piece comes on, now you have a nice bright frame up here. If I can get this done, it's a little hard to do this at an angle. Yes, I could flatten it out, but I'm trying to be difficult with myself. All right, so now you've got the brown, you have the red, and it's allowing all the colors to stand out, and that will be the only time we use the brown, and that's just to simply wrap the album. Everything else going forward will be red on the inside. I did not cover these panels. It's a waste of paper because your signature is going to go onto this, and it's just going to get down to where you're going to see a little bit of a brown on the edge, and that's all I wanted on that. All right. So for now, I know you're going to be doing some trimming and stuff, so I'm going to kind of set the front page aside, and I'm going to work on the back and the spine assembly. Now, let me explain something to you if you've never made an album before, and I'm sure a lot of you have, but let me explain this. This was a 9x9. By time you wrap, you're adding on height and width because the paper has been added. It's also going to change your spine measurement across back here because we started out with 1 7/8 for the spine, but when I came in to trim this so that it didn't have a gaudy brown spine on the edge, this red piece ended up being 2 inches because you got the curvature here of the spine on these panels as they close up. So I might have to do a little bit of trimming as we get to assembly, just to make sure that it looks balanced. So I'm going to go ahead and use some tape to put this on the back. And as we go through this, please understand I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. But if I do make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity for me and for you. And hopefully the learning opportunity for you is you won't make the mistake because you saw me make it before you did. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, and then we're going to put just a couple down here so that this doesn't do this poppy effect. It'll be down against the album. All right, so before I can put this panel on, I need to put my ribbon on. So I'm about 4.5 inches, which is the middle. This is 18 inches of ribbon, and I just put on about 1.5 inches of tape, and I did not take the tape clear to the edge because I don't want to see that. So I just simply put the tape just about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Let's get these two on. I forgot to put them on once and was halfway done with the outside build when I went, oh no! So I had to take it all off, and that's not fun. Okay, so we're working on the back. So when I add this, I am watching my top, my left side, and my bottom. Make sure I have all the same height on all of those pieces, because oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to, let me turn this over. I'm gonna have to trim this down just a little bit. I thought I was gonna have to. See how this comes way too far into the curve, so I'm gonna cut this back about 1/16 of an inch. Now what's gonna happen is it's gonna open up this, and there's gonna be a wider gap here, but it cannot be helped because that is the curve of the spine. So don't panic if you see that you've got a bigger gap along the spine than you do on the other three sides. Okay. All right, so now we're going to line this back up again. I'm trying to keep my top and my bottom at the same height, same width, and then this piece here. This does not look like it's cut straight. So just 1 minute. Let me see what I got going here. So I'm at 9 inches, and I'm at 8 7/8. So I'm going to put this on my big trimmer. I'll be right back. All right, let's see how we do now. Pardon the head if it gets in the way. Much better, much better. So I'm going to flatten this out now. And the reason I don't flatten it to begin with is because I really need to see where the roll of the spine comes in. I can't do that necessarily unless I have it this way so I can see what that roll's doing. All right, let's put put this sheet on. I'm going to simply glue this down. And just so you know, I interchange between glue and tape a lot. Depends upon what I want committed. And that first piece, if that had all been glued down, it would have been a disaster. And I'm probably going to regret having not remeasured this piece. Sure enough, hold on. I apologize. I have to get a wet wipe out, and I've got to remove some of this glue. Okay, and I need to take a little bit off of there as well, not a whole lot. And that did not trim well. Hold on just a second. This gives you a chance to kind of catch up a little bit. I should have done this before I put the glue on. I made a terrible assumption. So see, told you it wasn't perfect. So I gotta take a little bit more off. That roll in that hinge makes a huge difference on your measurements, and I did not double check my measurements, but I think I'm good now. So let me re-ink. Oh, and let me share with you. I am using a VersaFine Vintage Sepia for inking my edges. I like the brown tone, and it looks great up against no matter what color you're using. Okay, so we get past the measurement fiasco. So now we're going to re-glue this. And trust me, I will not be making this mistake when I put the front down. Perfect. Took a couple of extra trims. And now where are my little ballerinas? And I'm going to simply glue them here on the back. And the reason I'm using the chipboard is I would prefer to save the thinner pieces for inside the album. These chipboards in some situations can be thicker than I want them to be, so it's a perfect opportunity just to place it here on the back. Now the spine. This is the tricky part. There's no easy way to do this and not get all twisted around. But I think I'm going to stay with the 2 inches, but I am going to just take just a hair off. That little hair I took off just took off. It's gone. All right, let's go ahead and let's get this. Just a second. I want to double check something here real quick. Yeah. And I'm going to get this started, and then I will open up the book. Take a look here. I'm good to go. Nutcracker. So the choice is to put him here or here. I think I'm going to put him down here so he lines up here. That way there's some continuity in the placement of the items. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now, let's take a look at this. Now, I'm squeezing in on this, and that is not what I want. I'm going to open this back up and just double check my measurements here. So if I'm here and here, I think I'm going to take a little bit off this edge. Okay, let's take a look. So now once that's on, and we open this up, now I've got a better gap here between those lines. And then I want to make sure that I don't have to cut this down a little bit. So I'm seeing a little, I think I'm good on this one. All right, so let's get this taped. Okay, now I'm going to put a couple here in the center again, so this doesn't lift off the front of it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to watch my right side, my top and bottom edges. That just shifted. That's not what I wanted it to do. Just sit there. This cardstock okay, I think I'm okay. If I'm not okay, it is what it is. Now I notice I have a little bit of tape overhang here, so I'm just going to use my finger to tuck it back in. All right, now before I put any glue on this, make sure it's going to sit in there the right way. I think I'm good. I really like the brown and then the red and this green. This just looks, everything just stands out. It looks really rich to me. Now, when I put this down, I have to avoid gluing this area because keep in mind, this tree is going to get tucked in here. It always hangs up on this one side. So the tree's going to come in here like this. So maybe what I should do, there we go, that's the way it's supposed to be, is I might just go ahead and just glue these pieces down now. So I'm going to glue the back of the Nutcracker. Oh, come on. I'm gluing it, stand the tree up straight. Then I'm going to glue the back of the package. This is the tape that I had to put on there to fix the bad cuts. So excuse me while I'm in here messing around taking that off. And there's the tree, the Nutcracker. I'll tack the tree down in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this down. All right, paying attention to these outer edges, my right, the top and the bottom, and that's how I'm going to center this, and it laid down just beautifully. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and glue the tree down. All right, so that's where we're at so far. I'm going to go ahead and commit my holly to the upper right corner. And somewhere here I have a star. There it is. I'm just going to give it a little tack of glue, put it up here in this corner. All right, now I'm going to start to replace everything so that I can get it where I wanted it. The packages were going to come in here. I'm using the tree to hide the apple and the chair to hide the apple and the walnut. We've got the fireplace. Kind of want that to look like it's sitting in the back a little bit. Here is the window. Center that above the fireplace. We have the grandfather clock, and I'm treating this as the carpet. This is the wall. So theoretically then this should come all the way down here. But I think by the time I put her in, got sticky on my fingers. By the time I put her in, I'm going to move this way. I want the fire in the fireplace to show through. There we go. Center this above the fireplace. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to put beautiful moments. Now, you can put any sentiment you want. There are several in here. You've got Magic Christmas, Wonderful Christmas Time, Magic Night, Wintertime Greetings, Just Believe. And then you have the longer ones. I'm staying away from the longer ones because you've got this. Now I could, if I wanted this to show up a little bit more, kind of pull it off center. The fireplace doesn't have to be underneath the window, and that would help allow the window to show a little bit more. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start committing some pieces here. I have to put the fireplace down first. You know, I did not check to see if these were adhesive back. Hold on here just a second. I don't remember which company it is that they do adhesive back ephemera. So I'm going to set this right here. I would love these to be adhesive back, but I don't think they are. All right, let's get the clock in. I threw the packaging away when I got this, so I don't remember. Bad, 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 bad girl. Chair is going to come and swing over this way a little bit. And then she's going to come here. Standing in front of the clock and in front of the fireplace. Okay, so see, this is why I'm adding the window. This just looks so unfinished to me. So a nice, tall, stately window, and then this can sit just over it. Right about there. Oh, look at that. It lines up almost right on top of the fireplace. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pop-ups on this real fast. I'm going to lift this up off of the paper. Last minute brainchild here. And I mounted it on some really super thin chipboard. That's so that it had some oomph to it. Oops, I dropped it. I don't want to roll over it. Excuse me, just a second. Okay. Sorry about this up disappearing. My husband just decided he wanted to start hollering from the back 40, and I'm videoing, so I had to get up and close the door real fast. Okay, so putting that on some pop-ups so there's a little bit of height. Try and find a decent center, and we're going to commit. Okay. So there we go. Now, like I said, you have an option to use different papers, but this is kind of what I wanted to build the front and change it up just a little bit. And then we have the spine, and then we've got the back. So there we have it. That's the outside of the album, and we will come back and start working on the inside. I'll see you then.